Today's podcast is a little special and a little different. अभी तक आपने जितने podcast देखे होंगे उसमें काफ़ी students देखे होंगे who are interviewing the resource person. But today it is slightly different because agenda is a little different. I would like to ask you that have you always been a very pro-student faculty?
20 years back, the student I supervised, they are still in touch with me.
The most memorable memory for me about you is the convocation ceremony that was held in 2024.
One thing which I found with the teaching is that I never felt not going to the college or institution.
Has your equation changed over the years with students? It might.
Sorry. I didn't know.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Sonali Arora, Assistant Professor at RDIAS. I welcome you all to another podcast at Rukmini Devi Institute of Advanced Studies. Today's podcast is a little special and a little different. अभी तक आपने जितने podcast देखे होंगे उसमें काफ़ी students देखे होंगे who are interviewing the resource person. But today it is slightly different because agenda is a little different. We have with us Professor C.P. Gupta, sir. He is a renowned professor. Let me introduce him for a bit. Professor Gupta is presently Professor of Eminence at RDIAS, Professor of Practice at Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Delhi, Adjunct Professor at IIM Jammu and IIM Shillong, India. He has retired as a Senior Professor from the Department of Finance and Business Economics, University of Delhi, and was the head of the department and the Dean, Faculty of Commerce and Business, and Faculty of Applied Social Sciences and Humanities, University of Delhi. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so आज का जो podcast रहेगा, that will be focusing on research, but we will first start with your academic journey.
Oh, great.
Okay. So if I talk about your academic journey, because I have been associated with this institute and I have known you through this institute, but the most memorable memory for me about you is the convocation ceremony that was held in 2024. There was a reel that got viral where a student was receiving a degree from you, and he was posing like an actor, and there was a whole music sequence on his Instagram. You were so happy to see his gesture. You were not very strict or like हम professor से expect करते हैं, maybe they will not approve of this behavior, but you were very happy. And another memory I have of you is that when all the students were getting their degrees, you were the most happy. Like you were the happiest, as if they're your own kids. So that's on this note, I'll start the podcast where I would like to ask you that have you always been a very pro-student faculty?
Definitely.
Always. Even from the beginning of your journey.
Because when I see my students, I get a lot of energy from them.
Okay.
I mean, you go to the class and you interact with the students, your worries, your tension, everything, just vanish. So that's how you connect with the students, and they're really lovable.
Right.
So we feel happy whenever we interact with the students.
So this
We feel really happy with it.
So this has been the case since the beginning of your academic journey?
Yes. I started my teaching career in 1979.
Oh.
I started with the Khalsa College, University of Delhi.
Okay.
Then I moved to Shriram College of Commerce. There I worked for 20 years. Then I moved to MDI Gurgaon, where I worked for 10 years. Then I shifted to South Campus, University of Delhi, Department of Finance and Business Economics. Okay. And retired in 22 December. So it's a long journey, and one thing which I found with the teaching is that I never felt not going to the college or the institution or the university.
Okay.
I always look forward to go to the college. I always look forward to interact with the students because they are really, give you something which you can't get otherwise.
Okay. And has your equation changed over the years with students, or I mean, do you see any difference with the lot of students you had at the beginning of your career versus now?
Uh, Difference is earlier I was used to teach graduate students.
Okay.
Then I moved to the postgraduate students.
Hmm.
So I have more connect with the postgraduate students rather than the undergraduate students.
Okay.
And when I started supervising my PhD students, with them I have a very close, association.
Okay.
So I mean, we used to interact for a long, long time, long hours, long number of days, and that's how we have strong connect between ourselves.
Okay.
And 20 years back, the student I supervised, they are still in touch with me because that kind of a bond, you have between a researcher and a teacher.
I think as a faculty, as a teacher, I think this is the best thing to happen, that your students are still in touch with you. They still
Yes.
respect you. They
Yes.
still regard you.
Yes.
And I was coming to that question only, that now your interaction with students is in the form of scholars, or the recent maybe experience was with these scholars. I mean, is your approach the same with undergrad, postgrad students, or with scholars it's a little different?
No, it's different.
It's different. Okay.
Because the level of the audience is different.
Right.
I taught some school students
Hmm.
and I taught graduate students, I taught PG students, I taught PhD students. So
Okay.
there is a different.
Right.
The way you have to pitch your lecture is altogether different.
Right.
If you are interacting with these graduate students, the level is slightly lower. So you have to be more, illustrative, and you have to do a lot of practicals, numericals with them, which is not there in a PG program. Just tell them, they will do themselves. At a PhD level, we are more abstract in our discussion
Right.
and more theoretical in discussion because they are looking for deeper knowledge in a particular aspect.
It's more of groundwork
Yes,
as compared
more
to.
the fundamental work.
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, whenever you used to select your scholars, do you have any prerequisites in your mind, or what is your process of guiding them? I mean, if somebody approaches you to be your scholar, what are your, I mean, I don't know if I should say criteria, but are there any prerequisites that you look for in your scholars?
Yes, I look forward those students who are interested in reading, learning.
Okay.
So I don't take any fresh student. I first make them work for 2-3 months,
Okay.
test them whether they are really capable of doing the PhD program. Then I go for them. Otherwise, I don't. It's not that somebody come to me and say that I want to do PhD under you. No.
Okay.
So he or she has to work for some time with me. Then I will see whether it is really worth or not. Then I go for the candidate. Otherwise, I don't.
Okay.
And very fortunately, I have got good students. They have done wonderful PhD work.
I'm sure it's because of your guidance only that they are
Their
where they are.
capability, of course,
Yeah.
it's both ways. They were learners.
Hmm.
They were having capabilities. We were guiding them. So it's both. I can't take the credit of myself, but credit also goes to the student and the researcher.
Of course, it's always a two-way
Both ways.
street. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so since we are talking about scholars and we are talking about PhD and research, I'll be now segueing the segment towards research a bit more. But to start with, I would like to ask you, if you were to define research, what would be your top 5 words?
Top 5 words.
3 can also work.
Okay. The top 5 words will be do something which you can claim my contribution.
Okay. So your focus is more on contribution.
Yes.
And I
If
think
you do 3 years, 4 years, 5 years work,
right.
and at the end of it, you say, I have no contribution in it, that's not a research.
Right.
At least you can say out of 100%, 2%, 3%, 5%, whatever it is. That's my contribution. This is mine, nobody else.
Okay.
So that should be the, that should what I expect from a student.
I think that's a pain point for all the research scholars to find novelty.
They have to work.
Exactly. So, I mean, because these are the struggles that every scholar goes through,
Yes.
where we are always stuck with the question, what is it that we are going to contribute? What is it that we are going to discover or find out which has already not been done? So, how does one navigate through this?
Good. So actually, the journey of research is like a journey of your life.
Right.
It has ups, downs. There are times when you feel very happy, very excited, you have really done something. There are times when you say, what for I'm doing PhD, frustrated, depressed. Okay. So I've seen grown-up students weeping
Too many breakdowns.
because they
Yeah.
were not able to move further. They just stuck. They do not know what to do. But that's natural in the PhD process.
Right.
So there will be a point when you will feel that nothing is happening, you're frustrated. But once you pass through that, at the end, you feel you are at the top because you have done something which you love to do that.
Right. So during this process, I'm sure there must be some of your scholars who have had breakdowns where even they were stuck. How does the role of a guide look like in this particular scenario?
Okay. We used to console them
Okay.
कि चिंता नहीं करो देखी जाएगी.
Right.
You go on doing it. There are times when they think that PhD we cannot do, so they think that they should drop. But we say कि drop करने से क्या फायदा है? अब करते रहो, नहीं होगा.
I think this is the time where they look up to their mentor the most.
Definitely.
For moral support at least. Okay, so do you think that research has changed over the years? Like when you did your PhD or even in early 2000s versus now? Do you think, I'm
I
sure.
did my PhD late 80s.
No, of course you did. But
No.
when you
But I tell you
started.
the scenario at that time we had.
Okay.
So there were no online resources.
Right.
So we have to move from one library to the other library. Okay. In fact, I visited all libraries of Delhi. Okay. Whether it is government libraries, public libraries, ICMR library, MTNL library, DRDO library, IIM Ahmedabad library, Calcutta. So we used to visit libraries to get the material. Right. Which now is very convenient. Secondly, we were not having that strong computing facility. So in our university, we used to have one computer center, which is having terminals, and students used to go there, but they have to get their booking. Okay, so that was the time we had. But we enjoyed our journey of research. But here, since the facilities have gone up, expectation has also gone up. Right. Say, for example, if you do some analysis of company manually by collecting data, that used to be considered a wonderful thing, a good research work. Okay. But nowadays, it is not considered good research work because everything is online. Just download, do the processing, give the result. What's your contribution in that? Right. So now the facility, the ease of research is increasing, but the expectation is also increasing.
And so is the competition.
Yes. So you have to produce something which machine cannot do, but your mind can do it.
Right. So, now that we have reflected upon how research has changed over the years, you also talked about that it's very convenient these days for scholars as compared to what you had faced back then. We also have so many AI tools these days. We have tools for analysis, we have tools for writing. These are nothing but shortcuts. Do you think, I mean, and I'm pretty sure scholars must be resorting to such tools to, to use them in their PhD work. What are your comments on that? I mean,
No, I don't suggest that.
okay.
You know why I'm not suggesting that? We have seen when we go for a recruitment and we have the selection process of the teachers, and when we ask them questions, they're not able to answer.
Right,
Why they're not able to answer? Because they do not know how AI is generating solutions.
right,
It's a black box for them.
right,
So, as a teacher, as a researcher, you must understand what you are doing. Okay, you cannot say that I don't know what is it. It is produced by AI, so I am producing it here. No, that is not an acceptable argument. You can take help of AI, but don't do it blindly. All AI softwares, all AI tools says this is only information, and you please take it with cautious.
right,
Okay, why that? Because whatever they are giving you, that may not be correct. And there are instances when the information which we are getting from AI tools is not correct. So, for example, you ask what are the provisions of Companies Act 2030, right? You do not know which country Companies Act provisions are coming in. You don't know whether they are 1956, 2013. What is it? Nobody knows. So unless and until you know what exactly it is, you ask them to give a summary of it. Then it's okay. But you must understand that.
yeah.
It should not remain a black box.
I think AI was generated to assist us, help us, but I think it should not be a replacement of our minds.
Yes.
And I mean, we will not name the AI tools, but even they come with a caution that whatever the results are being generated, please
Right.
check, please verify, which I think it's the right thing to do.
Okay. Another important thing is research is based on ideas.
Right,
Ideas are inside you, not in a chat box,
right,
not on in any other AI tools. AI tools will give you the existing knowledge. They have the base where they are extracting the information, and they are giving you. But something creative which you have to do, that will come from your mind.
right.
So use your mind, train your mind, produce ideas, and do the work.
Okay. Uh, Continuing with this, my question now will be that since you mentioned that we have so many expectations from scholars these days,
And very high expectations.
very high expectations, that, you know, I mean, we see that with one paper we have 5, 6 authors because it's easier to divide the work and collate it instead of focusing on one paper per year or maybe per semester. What are your comments on this? I mean, 5, 6 authors in one paper versus you working on one idea diligently and with full concentration.
Okay. No, this is a very interesting aspect. I was talking to one professor, very senior professor, who is in a selection process of different universities. He told me one interesting thing, and that is there was one candidate published so many articles with so many authors. He asked them, "What is the title of your paper?"
Okay.
He doesn't know that.
Oh no.
What to talk about the content, he doesn't know the title.
Yeah.
So what is the advantage of it? You are just putting A star before you without any understanding. That's not knowledge. That's not a teacher should have. The teacher has to deliver it to the students.
Right.
Okay?
It might.
Sorry. I didn't know.
That's okay. We'll continue with it. Since you mentioned that, I mean, with 5, 6 people, 5, 6 authors in one paper, I think it might get you through the screening process, initial screening process, but I think when it comes to the interview, that will be a real test.
Yes. And surprisingly, what is the reply they give? I have written this part of the article. I doesn't know about the other part of the article. What is it? If it is a group activity,
Yeah.
group must understand it. You
Yeah.
cannot say that I have written these lines. Okay, I know this
आप
part.
इतना पूछो मेरे से
हाँ,
बस.
ऐसा नहीं होता है.
Right. I mean, if it's a
It's a
group
group
effort.
activity, then group must know what is there in the article.
Okay. So, I mean, if you were, I'm sure you have been at so many panels when it comes to recruitment. What is your outlook towards publishing papers? I mean, quantity over quality, or maintaining the quality, but also sustaining the quantity? Or it's debatable.
It's a paradoxical situation, I tell you.
Right.
People are going for quantity.
Right.
This initial screening of the candidate is done on the basis of quantity.
Correct.
Because they say how many published articles you have. They have their own criteria, and accordingly they call you. Then question comes your quality, because no institution will like to have those candidates which doesn't have any quality in the quality as a teacher.
Right.
So what is the best quality of a teacher is that teacher must understand. If a teacher understands, only then he can explain in a simple word to the student. Otherwise he cannot. Okay, so these numbers don't play any role. Quality plays an important role.
So you are always team quality.
Yes.
Okay.
Myself, I always look for the quality.
Okay.
You publish one article, but if that article has contributed to the society or to the economy, it's a wonderful thing. I mean, not now, but if you go back and you see the Nobel laureates, they don't have much publication.
Right.
They have few publications, but they have made dent in their own area.
Yeah.
So we are not looking for 100 articles. We are looking for 5, 10, which are contributing something. Okay, which are changing the paradigms of the area in which you are working.
Yeah, but 5, 6 good papers.
Good papers.
Yeah.
That's more important.
Yeah. But I think with increasing competition and pressure from the universities or from the institutes also, I think it has become a mindset now that you have to have.
But why that mindset has developed? Because of the ranking business.
Right. I was coming to that only. That's a very contradicting thing that,
Yes.
On one hand, we say that focus on quality, but because of the ranking business, we are also expected to fulfill the numbers.
Yes. Because ranking is not based on the quality. Ranking is based on the numbers.
Yeah.
So every institute wants number of papers with respect to the quality.
Yeah.
So in that matrix, people are publishing without knowing what is, to be published, what is not to be published.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, you will find a finance student getting its paper published in a biomedical science journal.
Yeah, which is not even related. It is A and Z.
Yes.
I think it has to come, within the system. The change has to come within the system and from every aspect, be it one accreditation body or be it one ranking body or be it one institute. Unless and until we are all on the same page, this system will always remain contradictory. Will not change. And
but it has to change.
Yeah, it should.
It has to change.
Yeah, because with that, what we as assistant professors feel that we have teaching to do, we have research to do, we have other work to do as well. But to fully focus on research, you need a proper headspace, a mind space. But like the mind space I talked about, that it has now been developed that we have to focus only on numbers, not quality. But I think soon, hopefully, it will be a change that this pressure is lifted up from us. But we'll wait for that
Yes,
day.
you're right. For research, you need space.
Yeah.
Space of time. Okay, space of mind.
Yeah.
and also you need a space where you can interact with the peers, so that you can have exchange of the ideas, because many times what you are thinking, you are not sure whether they are right, they are wrong. So when you interact with your peers, when they ask question to you, you get more clarity,
Right.
and that's how you have the exchange of the ideas as well, and
Right.
that's very, very important for a researcher.
I remember when I started my research journey, I had one colleague. I was just discussing with him about my research proposal, and we were having a lot of discussion. And at the end, he asked me, "Ki, are you now sure about your idea, or are you now confused, or do you have any questions? Because if you have questions, that means good. We had a good discussion,
Yes.
because research does not mean that you have to always be fixed about things. It's an always an evolving journey.
Yes.
And it's always a good thing that you get questions from your peers, from yourself, from within, that if you keep on asking whether it's correct, whether I'm doing correct or not. So I think, and that particular statement stayed with me.
That is what I am saying, that unless and until you have questions, that will not force you to think.
Right.
Okay, and mind need force so that it can start working. So there should be some trigger point which will force you to think, and they are the questions within, questions from outside, your peers, your student. Many times students ask a question that clicks.
Right. I mean, we learn from students.
Yes, we
Of
do.
course.
We do learn.
Yes. Since, I mean, now that we are coming to the conclusion of this particular podcast, my question to you would now be, what will be your tips, 5 tips, or okay, let's not put a number to it. What will be your tips to scholars who are beginning their research journey?
Okay. First thing is they must think
Okay.
what they have to do. Second thing is they have to read,
Right.
because when they read, ideas come into their mind and they can connect with their ideas with it. Third, have a group with whom you can interact and you can talk to them, you can discuss.
Right.
Fourth, you should have resources.
Hmm.
Okay, resources online and others, so that your further journey becomes comfortable. You should be comfortable with statistical tools, comfortable with the computational tools, so that you can do your work comfortably and easily. And finally, have a hope you will do it. Have a faith that yes, we can do it.
Okay.
That is very, very important. Yes, we can do it.
All is well. Okay. मैंने podcast start किया था with a question of your academic journey, that you have always been a pro student faculty. Now it has been so many years जब आप पढ़ा चुके हो, and you're still mentoring people. If I were to ask you कि आपकी कौन सी ऐसी favorite memory है with any batch of your students that you have taught, be it in 80s, 90s, or whatever, what's that first thing that pops up in your head? Favorite memory with any student, with any batch?
Okay, they're smiling faces.
They're smiling faces. Okay.
Because whenever we finish a course, the kind of the satisfaction, the smiling face, the excitement which I see from the student, that's really an asset for me.
Okay.
So at the end, when you see smiling faces of the students, that will make your life.
Yeah. That's a very creative satisfaction that you
Yes,
get.
we do.
Yeah.
And you know what is the best thing in teaching? You get instant feedback. When you come
Right.
out of the class,
Right.
you know how you have done in the class by
Yeah.
looking at the body language of the student, their faces. Okay, they give you instant feedback.
Yeah.
That is the best thing in teaching.
Yeah. I think because teaching is supposed to be a very personal
Yes.
communication,
Right.
where we are literally just sitting like this,
Yes.
face to face.
And connect.
Connect. Yes, it's very
You
important.
know what students are thinking, what you are thinking, Unless and until there is a connect between them, you will not give to the students what the students are looking forward.
Right.
Okay, students are looking forward what they want. Okay, don't think that this is I want to give. No, you have to understand your audience
Right.
and prepare your lecture accordingly.
Right. I think, I mean, मैंने अभी जितनी आपसे बात करी है
हाँ.
throughout this podcast, I think I've never met a faculty who is so happy all the time with the students, with the teaching. I think you get that creative satisfaction even today,
Yes.
right? You look
I
forward to
started my
mentoring.
career, teaching career, 79.
Right.
It's almost 44 years, 45 years.
Oh, wow.
And throughout these 45 years, I never felt कि बहुत हो गया अब छोड़ दो ऐसा नहीं लगा. I always look for teaching and I always look for interacting with the students. ये हमारी जान है.
Yeah. I think आपको देख के हमें ऐसा लगता है कि हम तो बहुत जल्दी इरिटेट हो जाते हैं.
अरे ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
No, but
You have to have patience.
yeah, definitely.
Every researcher has to have a patience.
Every research, yeah. I think if anything, research definitely teaches us patience.
Definitely.
Yeah.
बहुत जरूरी है. श्रद्धा सबूरी बहुत जरूरी है.
जी. So I think अगर हम कुछ इस पॉडकास्ट के अगर टेक अवेज समराइज कर पाए तो I think on the top of my head I can think of that one has to have faith, one has to think, discover, and learn from every source possible.
Yes.
And by source, I just
And
don't mean
stop
online.
Learning. Don't stop
Never
learning.
stop learning. Yes.
You are a student. You will always be a student.
Yeah.
And the day you stop learning, that will be the day you stop winning.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for this
Thank
podcast.
you, Saloni. Thanks a lot. It's nice interacting with you.
Thank you.
And hopefully, I could share my inner feelings with you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to our viewers. I hope this podcast helped you a lot because it definitely helped me. And like sir said, learning should never stop and we should always be a student, at least at heart. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.